Yo, Still Mills, what's the deal, man? It's Friday. Niggas get paid. All praises due. Damn, man, these birds is notorious out here. You letting shit glow, you dig? From 50 feet up in the air, man. That shit is nasty to look at. I done had my fair shit. Ugh, I ain't even gonna go into that shit, man. Let's get right into these bars, man. So, peep game, man. You know, at some point, all this shit is always gonna double back to David Benavidez, man, because you know, I just can't for the life of me understand how y'all can have this level of admiration for a fighter but not hold him to a certain standard. You dig? Just y'all can't be so enamored with a motherfucker to the point where y'all would justify him fighting the same motherfuckers of a dude that y'all have a level of disdain for. I just don't get it. So I've listened to 2 different interviews, man, and I'm like I said, man, I'm in the process of learning Spanish, and I'm restarting my courses. I want to say maybe at the top of the month. I'm looking to pay for the courses now and schedule them for around about starting in June. So I'm listening to this shit, and I seen it on. It was on one of the forums I'm on Facebook, one of the boxing pages I'm on Facebook, and I'm on there, and people post a whole bunch of bullshit on there all the time. They'll post fictitious ass articles, and they can't cite the source of the information that they got, what it is that they saying from. It's just a way to drum up, views, get traffic, to bring traffic to their channel, bring traffic to their pages or whatever, and just get a response out of people. People do that all the time, man. What they call that, I can't remember what clickbaiting, you dig? So it's a lot of clickbait that goes on, not just on YouTube, but on Facebook as well. But so I go and I check this out. I'm like, I brush it off because I'm like, David's not coming back to 168 pounds. It's just not happening. So I'm like, nah, that ain't happening. Lo and behold, I just randomly click it in on YouTube because at this point you can't put anything past David Benavidez's pops because they always end up putting their foot in their mouth. But the thing is, thus far, every fight that Jose Benavidez Sr., I keep saying David Sr., but every fight that Jose Sr. has said that David Benavidez was going to be in, he ended up being in. Whether it was Andre, whether it was Morrell, he ended up fighting him. So I go to this channel, and it's a Spanish channel. The content creator is, he's a Hispanic dude. I got his I cannot remember the dude's name, but he's in my I definitely subscribe to his channel. So I'm listening to this, and I'm reading it, and I'm like, there's just no way this dude is saying what I think he's saying. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way he's saying what I think he's saying. Is this dude really showing interest in fighting William Scull at 100? Like, what? Are you serious? So of course, in Spanish I ask on there, is he like, is this for real? I want to make sure I'm sure before I even respond. I'm like, is this dude calling out William Scull up at 175 pounds? I'm like, is this true? He's like, yeah, his dad is suggesting it. And to add fuel to the fire on top of that, he just did an interview with some, I forget the Brit. I got to go and look up, because I just got done listening to it today, but it was with a British content creator. And he echoes the same sentiment. Bringing William Scull up, meeting him at a catchweight, and showing Canelo how to fight William Scull. And of course, to you motherfuckers, that's not going to be something that's problematic, because it would be in y'all heart of hearts is him showing Canelo how to go about fighting an opponent who's a runner. And completely ignoring the fact that nobody was giddy to see no fight with William Scull, no way. It was acceptable only because William Scull had a belt. But even with that, even with him having a belt, everybody was still super bitter about it because it's not a fight that we was asking for. Nobody, because William Scull doesn't have no profile like that outside of Vladimir Shishkin. And I didn't see that fight, but there was a lot of people who felt like he won that fight. You dig? So I'm like, even then, Shishkin isn't really... He doesn't have a high profile like that. You dig? I'd have rather seen Mobili. I'd rather see Diego Pacheco. I'd have rather seen... Who else is in there as of right now, man? I don't want to say Lester Martinez, but fuck it, I'd rather see Lester Martinez than that. You dig what I'm saying? Before I would have wanted to watch the William Scull. William Scull has no profile, but it was acceptable because this dude is going for undisputed again, and it's for all the marbles when he goes and he fights Crawford in September. But that was the only reason why the fight was acceptable. But nobody wanted to see this fight. Nobody wanted to see this shit. Nobody. Matter of fact, Jose Sr. is on record saying, oh, shame on Canelo for fighting William Scull. Shame on him for fighting this dude. This dude ain't nobody. Just for you to turn around and go and... You just can't make this shit up, bro. You just can't make it up. And I'm not seeing anybody attack on that. I don't... It's baffling to me. Because if this does happen... Let's say that this does happen. This will be the fourth fighter that Canelo will have fought. The fourth fighter that this dude will have fought that they've all of a sudden shown interest in. Caleb Plant, they had no issue. They had no interest in fighting no Caleb Plant when they were both champions over there on the same side of the street. Canelo comes up to the division, cleans him up, takes his belt off of him, takes his oath from him. Now all of a sudden, y'all want to get that. Y'all want to run that. You go fight everybody else. All right, cool. Bring me Caleb Plant. When y'all could have did that years ago before Canelo had even got up there. After the fact. Now it's all of a sudden interest to go up there and fight Callum Smith. And now, mind you, these fights are no longer cherry picks. These are credible fights. The minute David's name gets interjected into fighting one of these dudes, they're all of a sudden credible scalps if he goes up there and he fights him. Which, if we being real, they would have been credible scalps all along. There would have been nothing wrong with a David Benavidez versus Jaime Munguia fight. Just like there was nothing wrong with a Caleb Plant versus David Benavidez fight. There would have been nothing wrong with a Billy Joe Saunders versus David Benavidez fight. There would have been nothing wrong with a Callum Smith versus David Benavidez fight. There would have been nothing wrong with these fights had he got to him first. Even at Edgar Berlanga, I'm not a fan of the Berlanga. I was like, yo, I didn't pay for that fight when Canelo fought. I'm not paying. I'm not putting money in Edgar Berlanga's pocket. Are you out of your fucking mind? I hate this dude. No. But if David would have fought him, it would have been understandable. All right, cool, cool. It's a credible win. Nah, I ain't credible. Fuck out of here, Edgar Berlanga. Fuck out of here. But my point is this. And I've had people give me pushback on this as well. Because Canelo is at where he's in his career, it's a slap in the face for Canelo to go and fight those dudes. But y'all have David touted so highly as whatever it is that y'all are making him out to be. How could you not hold them in the same light and to the same standard? If it's bullshit for them, it's bullshit for him. There's no reason you could justify telling me that a fight with any of them dudes is credible for David and not for Canelo Alvarez when David Benavidez is the dude who's supposed to be the Canelo Slayer. It just don't make no sense. It makes no fucking sense. It makes no sense. And not to mention the fact that you even bringing up this dude, you talking about bringing this dude up to a fucking, either a catch weight or to 475 pounds, bro. What the fuck are we doing here? What the fuck are we? This dude holds no real estate in the division, nothing. Why would you even sit there and put that on your son's resume? Or put it potentially put it on his itinerary? William Scull versus David Benavidez, that's not ain't nobody salivating to see that fight. Nobody was salivating to see it with Canelo. The thing is, this dude keeps going out of his way to lobby for fights against Canelo Alvarez, dog. He's still holding out hope that he can get that fight. He's still holding out hope that he can get that fight. And nobody is holding his feet to the fire when it comes to this shit, man. David Benavidez this will be, if David Benavidez actually echoes his dad's sentiment, this will be the fourth opponent that Canelo has already been there and done that with, that he's all of a sudden showing interest in, bro. And you can't see a pattern. You can't see a pattern with that. Because this dude is consistently saying, I'm no longer interested in a Canelo Alvarez fight, just for you to mention him in the next interview that you do. I just listened to the Usman and Henry and I forget the two MMA dudes. I just listened to his interview on there. And the points that he made, it's like, bro, you keep tripping yourself up, and because your fans are so much, you know, they like the way the dictates, they not gonna hold your feet to the fire on the shit that you saying. You sat there in front of God and everybody. Shout out to my man DT3 the Boom Man. You sat there in front of God and everybody and stated, if me and Canelo fight, it's for that's the biggest check. It comes back to money. Even though I think that's the ultimate emphasis on why it is that you want the fight so bad, and I'm not mad at it because it's the biggest payday that you can come across. But it's not you get the biggest check, get the biggest check, get the biggest check, get the biggest check. You said that, and you said that a few times on a few other different platforms. All right, cool. Go get the biggest check you can get for a Callum Smith fight. You're not getting a multi-million-dollar payday if you bring him over there to the PBC. Why does the bag matter when it's about Canelo, but when it's about Callum Smith and all them Brits over there and Bivol and Benavidez, you feel you have dominion over them to where they can come over here. The fight makes bigger sense over here, which you know it ain't true. You know it's not true. You know it's not true. America is not interested. They're not interested in them high, and 75 on up. They're not, because we don't have no stock and no real estate up there. You know the biggest fights to make for you at 175 pounds is over there across the pond. So if you're so hell-bent on Canelo coming over here to fight you, or coming to fight you because the payday that's gonna come with it, why won't you go over there and get that same pay? Not the same payday, but a damn good payday, more than I'm sure that what you've gotten over here thus far. Why don't you take your ass over there across the pond and get the payday with them? Why does a payday only matter when it's time to use that as to ostracize Canelo? To fight you? That's when the payday matters. That's when the bag matters. Get the biggest payday we can get. But none of that is a factor when it comes to you going over there and fighting them dudes over there. And y'all wonder why I'm like, I'm not tripping on if he don't fight them dudes. And I want that fight more than anything, but I understand it, because it's like, the mental gymnastics that you keep playing, my dude, is they not gonna see it because they have the same level of animosity towards Canelo as you do, because he refuses to give you the fight. So they're not gonna see. They're not gonna come to the conversation with an objective opinion. They're gonna agree with everything you say and completely ignore the fact that you keep talking about a bag when it comes to Canelo, but you won't follow that same sentiment when it's time to fight Callum Smith for $multi-million over there in Riyadh. It's a contradiction, dog. If it's about the bag, cool. Thus far, you're not gonna make no more money than you would make fighting Callum over there in Riyadh. Go get that money over there with them and get the biggest bag you can get thus far. You're getting outpaced, and this is what just when you bring it, you're getting outpaced. You've been outpaced, dog. Like your best win at 168 pounds. Was Caleb Plant, a dude that you could have gotten to long before Canelo got to, but you chose not to. Y'all wanted to let that shit marinate. All right, whatever the fuck ever. If you don't get the fight with Bivol and Benavidez, as of now, the best fight for you to make is with who? Callum Smith. And who got to Callum Smith before you? Now let's say you wait and you chill and you don't take the Callum Smith fight. You chill until this trilogy wrap up. And let's say Bivol wins. Who's gotten to Bivol before you? Once again. Once the fuck again. Even if let's say Benavidez wins. Let's say Benavidez wins. And you go up there and you try and brawl out with, you want to take that fight. Who was interested in the Benavidez fight and took initiative to go and get that fight before you got to him? That shit is documented. I think Artur Benavidez came out and let it be known. Yeah, he reached out to me before he fought Bivol. He reached out to me. And let's say you do take your pops, just what it is that let's say you do take your pops for what it is that he's saying about wanting to show Canelo how to beat a mover or whatever. Who got to that mover before you did? Once again, you are being outpaced by this dude as a super middleweight and as a light heavyweight. And y'all wonder why I'm not about to sit here You wonder why I'm not about to sit here and cry a river as to why David Benavidez ain't getting the fight with Canelo Alvarez, even though it's the fight that I want more than any other fight. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it because everything that you are doing is consistently doubling back to this dude, and you're not putting forth the initiative to actually go and get these fights, man. I'm not convinced that you trying to go in there and run that shit with no Bivol because you took the belt from him instead of taking it from him righteously. You went and you got that nigga stripped. You pressed the issue to get him stripped. And you already holding up, throwing roadblocks in between you and him. Why? Because you keep talking about how the fight would do better over here. Because when they sold the fight for Bivol and Benavidez, both of those, when they put that fight up for $25 and only did $60K or whatever in America. But you'll ignore the rest of the boxing world that bought it globally. Now, granted, it wasn't blockbuster because neither one of these dudes are fighters that's known to the public like that. So no, it's not gonna do what Usyk and Fury did. It's not gonna do that. It's not gonna do that. And Fury is the one, if we being real as far as marketing is concerned, Fury is the one who really sold that shit because Fury is the personality. Usyk is a consummate professional. I'm like, yo man, listen, my talent is what's gonna sell me this fight. I ain't with all the theatrics, my nigga. You can have that. And that fight did $1 million globally. So globally, I think if it was like, what they say, like 350 or some shit like that. I don't think all 3 David Benavidez fights that he's headlining on pay-per-view has done 350 in totality. So what the fuck are we talking about here? What are we talking about? That fight would do better here than it would over there, all while telling everybody that you didn't sell out the fucking T-Mobile Arena when you fought David Morrell. How is it going to do better over here as opposed to fighting over there across the pond? How is it going to do better over here as opposed to you fight any of them dudes over there in the UK or even in Saudi Arabia? It makes no fucking sense what you're saying, dog. And nobody is going to check you on that because everybody's mindset is stuck on America or nothing. It's stuck on America or nothing. This dude talking about David Morrell beats everybody else in the division. Based on what? Based on what? He beats everybody in the division because he gave you a hell of a fight? When it's not even a foregone conclusion that you beat everybody in the division, not named Bivol or Benavidez? No, nigga, like this, man, this shit is, I can't, man, listen, man. Y'all dudes gotta stop. Y'all do, even in the interview, you talk about, yeah, when I beat Callum Smith, when, like, we won't know if you beat him or not because you turned down the fight with him. And on top of that, you haven't sent the counter offer. And even if y'all do get the fight over the line, there's more to Callum Smith's game that you are going to have to worry about than he has with you. You do have the style to beat Callum Smith, though. You definitely do. You definitely do. But you're going to have more of a difficult time trying to adjust to Callum Smith than Callum Smith is going to have adjusting to you. And that's just a fact. You just so happen to have the relentlessness and the style and the volume that can beat him. But there's a multitude of other things that you don't have. And early on in the fight, when it's trying to figure that out and decipher how you're going to get past this dude straight shots, how to find a way to neutralize that man's catch and shoot counter left hook, you are going to have a hard time dealing with that. If you do deal with it, it's going to take you to the middle rounds to get used to that shit, to make the proper adjustments with that. So it's not no foregone conclusion that you're going to beat any of these dudes up there at 175 pounds. Like, man, stop playing games, bro. This shit is, I don't get it with this dude. And none of your fans are going to call you out on the bullshit because they have this spitefulness towards the ginger. And I get it. I definitely get it. Because like I said, I want that fight more so than any other fight. But I'm not about to hang my hat on it because there are other big fights out there for him to make. Not the biggest. They're not going to be as big as David Benavidez. They're just not. They're just not. Everybody can't be got to. It's unfortunate, but David Benavidez may be one of them ones who just can't be got to. Just like Virgil Ortiz is probably not going to be one of them ones that Bud is going to get to. It just is what it is. Some people just ain't going to be got to. That don't mean I'm happy about it. That means I understand it. And I think he's just like, yo, man, you talk too fucking much, man. I don't get, yo, man. In the process of me shutting you up by putting my fist in your fucking face, You get compensated off of that. I don't want to be the reason you get. I don't. No, because that dude also understands I'm the sweepstakes. I'm the jackpot. I'm the lottery ticket. I don't want to accommodate you. Even if I beat the shit out of you, you will still be compensated for the L that you're gonna take. So I'm saying, man, like, all in all, hold this dude to the same standards. That's what it all boils down to. If a fight is unacceptable for Canelo Alvarez, it's damn sure unacceptable for fucking David Benavidez. That's just a fact. If David Benavidez is this dude, the Mexican monster that y'all swear that he is, then there's no reason why a fight with him between Jaime Munguia, Edgar Berlanga, Callum Smith, Caleb Plant, William Scull, anybody, Dimitri Bivol, because according to y'all, that was a cherry pick. None of these fights should be, all these should be unacceptable fights. He should be bigger and better than these fights because they were cherries for Canelo. Y'all don't think like that. Y'all so fucking reactionary and in the moment. Y'all don't think that the dumb shit that you saying now is eventually gonna trip you up months and years later down the line. David Benavidez just did an interview like a year or two ago talking about he didn't look for me. He looked for the weaker fights. He's taking fighters with weaker champions and this. And Callum Smith was one of those names. He didn't ask for me. He asked for Callum Smith. But let you tell her you in interviews now asking for Callum Smith, even though you ain't taking the necessary steps to get that fight. And once again, it's gonna go unnoticed. It's gonna go unnoticed. But if you start parakeeting what your pops is saying about potentially fighting William Scull, I don't give a fuck if it's at a catch weight or anything. I don't want to hear, bro. I'm off my stock on. I don't think highly of David. I don't think he's a trash fighter though. I don't think he's I damn sure don't think he's head and shoulders above the rest of the competition. I don't think I can't see nobody beating him at 175 pounds not named Dimitri Bivol or Artur Beterbiev. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. Buatsi, Callum Smith, Yard, yes. Even Lyndon Arthur. A dude who's durable and has the ability to keep you off balance. Yes, he's in that fight. The fuck are y'all talking about? So I'm not sold on David Benavidez as this Mexican monster. No, I'm not. But he's a good fighter. And I think it's dishonest to say that he's not. Just stop amping this nigga. That's all I'm saying. Hold that man to the same standards that y'all will hold Canelo to. Hold that man to the same standards. Canelo was a dude that I'm gonna go, hey, nah, man, you're gonna have to come with a little bit more receipts on that one. Because I'm more than likely gonna be able to debunk your bullshit ass narratives and talking points because you don't know what the fuck you talking about. You ain't got a clue what you talking about. Clueless. I'm gonna beat a nigga to bang on you for that. Like, how? Okay, so the same thing, the same way I did with Bud when it came to Spence. The same way I go to bat when it's Danny Jacobs and niggas is talking about slick black Americans and Danny Jacobs and Tevin Farmer's name never get mentioned. I'm going to bang on y'all for that. So yes, I'm coming to the aid of Canelo. When it's one of my favorite fighters, all right, cool, let's talk about this. It's silly shit. And if William Scull was unacceptable for Canelo, it's unacceptable for David. Every fight that every former super middleweight that Canelo had fought was a cherry pick when that dude was going when that dude was simply going on an undisputed campaign for the 168-pound division. All of those fights were championship bouts. All of them. Callum Smith, Billy Joe Saunders, Caleb Plant. They were all for undisputed. All of them. All of them for undisputed. It was for a reason. Not just me fighting these niggas. I'm going and taking the belt off of these dudes. David gets to him. There's no real estate on the line. There's nothing on the line. Other than, I just fought Caleb Plant. I just fought Callum Smith. I'm trying to fight Bivol. Bivol will be for the marbles, yeah, if you go up there and you actually fight him. What's the likelihood of you even doing that? Because you got the belt. You gonna fight Callum Smith? No, it's bragging rights at that point. Oh, I'll beat Callum Smith. It was for what? For nothing. You could have fought him at 168 pounds. You want to fight William Scull for what? For nothing. You could have fought him at 168 pounds if you was that hell-bent on going up there and fighting that dude. What are we talking about, man? This shit is petty. This shit is petty. The Jose Sr., get the fuck out of here, bro. If y'all entertain a fight with William Scull when you got after you done turned down a fight with Callum Smith for multi-millions of dollars, I'm knowing what I'm knowing what the get down is, dog, and I've been knowing what it is. Y'all are content with staying on easy street until y'all take that one fight that's a bigger risk than y'all are accustomed to taking, but the reward matches the risk. That's a potential fight with Zordo. Because it's for Mexican supremacy. Man, get the fuck up out of here. Man, listen. That's all I gotta say about it, man. I'm outie, man. I'll get with y'all later, man. Y'all stay righteous, yo. Doses.